I join in the thanks and appreciation to the Assembly staff for their dedicated service throughout this mandate. I also want to wish every future happiness and success to those who are retiring, to Paula Bradley, to Sinead Bradley, to Chris Little. I trust that now that they are obtaining the early release, that they will enjoy the rest of their lives in respect of that. In respect of this House, Mr. Speaker, this mandate started with no executive. It finishes with no executive. It started in deadlock. It finishes in deadlock. Does that not tell us something? It tells us surely that this system of government is unsustainable and unworkable, that mandatory coalition is a recipe for such failure because it is built upon the sand of not having to be agreed about anything in order to be in government. Hence the manifestations throughout the mandate of deadlock and failure and squabble. So it shouldn't be any surprise to anyone that we look back on another mandate of failure and deadlock. The system guarantees that. And yet now we go into an election in which the most fundamental of democratic rights is denied to the people of Northern Ireland. The right to change their government. The right to vote a party out of government. Because of this absurdity of mandatory coalition, where any party with a handful of MLAs is entitled as of right to be in government, the electorate can never vote a party out of government or change their government. So it's simply, under this system, more of the same. More of the same deadlock, squabble, failure. That's what mandatory coalition offers. And of course, now we add to that toxic mix the poison of the protocol, which has made any prospect of these institutions working on any viable basis just beyond reach, because they undermine the very ethos of what is supposed to exist here, namely that of consent to the process by which we are governed. There are boasts of the number of bills passed in this House, but during this mandate, this House, the people of Northern Ireland, became subject, courtesy of the protocol, to 300 EU laws that we can't change and wouldn't make. And during this very year, there's prospect, according to the House of Lords Committee, of 29 changes affecting Northern Ireland's legislation, about which we'll never be asked, about which we cannot change, but for which we become slavish rule takers. That is not something which is sustainable for the future of a legislative assembly. If the legislation that governs so much, touching upon the manufacturing of our goods, that which touches upon trade, is not made in Belfast, not made in London, but made in a foreign jurisdiction over which we have no control, that is a further poison to this system, which guarantees that this system is doomed, and so it should be.
And I call Harry Harvey.
And thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Today I'd just simply like to wish